Right now, your heart is beating, your immune system is fighting, and your brain is regulating your sleep hall with the help of DNA that's tens of thousands of years old. These aren't just relics of the past, they're living, active parts of you, unless your ancestry traces entirely back to Africa. Your body contains genetic material inherited from our extinct human cousins, Neanderthals and Denisovans. These aren't distant ancestors from millions of years ago. These are beings who walked the earth just 47,000 years ago, living across Europe and Asia, and they left behind something far more intimate than bones genes that are still shaping who we are. We often imagine human evolution as a linear journey, one species replacing another, but the truth is more complex. When modern humans migrated out of Africa, they encountered other human species who had already adapted to Eurasian environments. These weren't hostile encounters, they were deeply human ones. Our ancestors didn't just compete with Neanderthals and Denisovans. They lived with them, shared tools and culture, had children together, and in doing so, exchanged DNA in ways that changed us forever. For over 7,000 years longer than recorded human history, our species coexisted with these ancient humans. And when Neanderthals disappeared around 40,000 years ago, they left part of themselves behind, inside us. For decades, scientists believed Neanderthals were unintelligent and incapable of competing with Homo sapiens. But groundbreaking DNA research has changed that story. Even more surprising, research from Princeton University revealed that Neanderthals also carried genes from modern humans. Up to 10% of their DNA came from our ancestors, including genes related to brain function. It wasn't a one-time interaction. It was thousands of years of mutual exchange. Genome analysis from UC Berkeley shows this interbreeding lasted about 7,000 years. Imagine that, an era of shared life longer than civilization itself. It's a love story written in our DNA, so what do these ancient genes do? The answer is both fascinating and relevant. One of the most critical legacies we've inherited from Neanderthals is part of our immune system. In 2018, evolutionary biologist David Ennard found that modern humans inherited Neanderthal variants of immune genes that are especially good at fighting RNA viruses, like the flu and coronaviruses. Neanderthals had already spent hundreds of thousands of years in Europe and Asia, adapting to local pathogens. Some Neanderthal genes influence the body's circadian rhythm, your internal clock that tells you when to sleep, wake, and eat. These variants are more common in people who live farther from the equator, where seasonal light varies drastically. Neanderthals had lived in these northern regions for hundreds of thousands of years, adapting to long winters and short summers. We are not a single our-agent species that evolved in isolation. We are hybrids, mosaics. Our genomes are patchworks woven from many ancient lineages. By interbreeding with Neanderthals and Denisovans, they gained evolutionary shortcuts, tools already tested by time and survival. Those tools are still in us today. They're helping your body fight viruses. They're adjusting your sleep cycle. You carry DNA that's been battle-tested by millennia. DNA that helped your ancestors love, survive, and adapt in ways we're only beginning to understand. Your story doesn't begin with your parents or grandparents. It stretches back to ancient encounters under moonlit skies. Between humans and their mysterious cousins, sharing fires, families, and futures. The proof is inside you, alive, active, and still shaping the way you live today. They're shaping how your skin reacts to the sun. These aren't just ancient curiosities. They're living, breathing parts of your biology. As geneticist Rasmus Nielsen puts it, we're mongrels, and that's a good thing. Or hike at high altitudes, you are reenacting an ancient legacy. A survival story written not just in bones or cave paintings, but in your very DNA. These genes are more than just remnants. They are evidence of who we are and how we got here. Our ability to mix, to learn from others, to adopt their genetic strengths. That's what made Homo sapiens the most adaptable species on Earth. When modern humans arrived, those adaptations proved valuable. And even today, they affect your sleep cycles, energy, appetite, and possibly even your risk for conditions like obesity or diabetes. When our ancestors arrived, they picked up a ready-made immune toolkit. These genes helped them survive and still protect us today. The answer lies in one of evolution's most important principles: genetic incompatibility. Some Neanderthal genes simply didn't work well with human DNA. A 2023 study of Icelanders found little evidence that Neanderthal DNA strongly affects modern traits like freckles or eye color. This doesn't disprove earlier research, it just reminds us that the impact of ancient genes can vary between populations. In some places, Neanderthal DNA may be important. In others, modern genes and environment play a bigger role. They may have disrupted brain development, reproduction, or caused other fatal problems. Natural selection acted like an editor, keeping the helpful genes and ruthlessly deleting the harmful ones. This process created Neanderthal deserts, parts of the human genome where Neanderthal DNA is completely absent. The remaining genes tend to influence traits that were vital for survival, like immune function, skin and hair pigmentation, and metabolism. But not all ancient DNA is beneficial in the modern world. Some of the genes that helped us fight ancient viruses now increase the risk for allergies or autoimmune disorders. Evolution favors short-term survival over long-term health. What saved us then might harm us now. How easily a person tans and how prone they are to sunburn, an evolutionary response to different UV levels in Europe and Asia. These genes helped early modern humans adjust to their new environments and continue to influence how we react to sun exposure today. This selective inheritance is a double-edged sword. Some parts are treasures, others are baggage. Neanderthal DNA also plays a surprising role in our appearance. Studies using data from over 100,000 people in the UK Biobank revealed that genes from Neanderthals influence skin tone, hair color, height, and even mood and smoking habits. At over 13,000 feet, oxygen levels are dangerously low. Most people would suffer from altitude sickness. But Tibetans thrive therein. Their secret is in their DNA, the gene that allows them to survive at high altitudes. Called EPase-1, didn't come from Neanderthals. It came from Denisovans, another extinct human species, known mostly from a few bone fragments found in a Siberian cave. This gene helps the body regulate oxygen without overproducing red blood cells, which can lead to deadly blood thickening. For Tibetans, this ancient adaptation is a lifesaver. It's living proof that interbreeding with Denisovans helped modern humans conquer some of the harshest environments on Earth. This tells us Neanderthals weren't a uniform group. They had varied features just like modern humans. Some had lighter skin, some had darker, some had straight hair, others curly. This diversity challenges the stereotype of the red-haired, pale-skinned Neanderthal. They were as varied and adaptable as we are today. One gene inherited from Neanderthals influences the most dramatic example of ancient DNA in action comes from the Tibetan Plateau. Even your sleep patterns might be shaped by ancient DNA. Are you a night owl or a morning person? It might not be just habit. But if Neanderthal DNA was so useful, why don't we have more of it? Not everyone agrees on how much influence ancient DNA has. Still, the bigger picture is clear. When modern humans migrated out of Africa, they faced new climates, unfamiliar pathogens, and extreme environments. Every time you recover from a cold, adjust to a new time zone. So the next time someone calls you a Neanderthal, take it as a compliment.